All right, good morning, guys. Hopefully, everyone had a good trading day. I did pretty good. I finished up $339 on the day. Pretty solid. Definitely was not expecting this big of a green day. I just really wanted to come in and just have just be green, especially after yesterday. Yesterday just beat me up so much. And so after today, I pretty much made everything that I lost yesterday pretty much give or take a few dollars. So now I'm back to green on the month and green on the week. So that is good. PBTS gave a great move. From the bottom to the top is over 200%. I wasn't trading that though. I didn't take any trades on that. So let's go through the trades that I did take. So we start here with BJDX. So BJDX showing a 20 million float and pre-market. We had a pop-up, a gravestone doji. So then it pulled back and I started buying the pullback, kind of shook myself out. I still thought it was kind of extended off the 9 EMA, but it did go kind of without me. Had a little bit of a false break out there, very kind of choppy. I definitely left a little bit on the table here, but it didn't have a full breakout, and so I wasn't really too convinced of a big move yet. Pulled back some more, back to the VWAP, and then we had a hammer candle. So it sold off underneath the 9 EMA and the VWAP, and then got bought back up. That's where I took my position there and took a nice 3-cent scalp. And then here I'm adding back a little bit higher at 73 for the break of this candle and take it off for a quick 1-cent scalp. And then kind of just trading the range here until, I didn't really think we'd have that big of a move here. But we did have a nice 15-cent move for the breakout, but it kind of just happened instantly. I didn't really have a chance to buy. And we had already at this point 4 green candles in a row. And so I was thinking we would see another pullback to the VWAP before he went, but we just had an instant flash through the high and I wasn't able to get on it. And then here we rejected that pretty hard, and then that was it. That was the high. I did trade this at the open for the red to green at 71 and then 73, added 73, and then at 75 taking it off, and then adding in the first pullback and selling it for a quick scalp. I did think we did have potential to break the high here, but after this candle, it was kind of donezo. And then this candle definitely put it in its grave. So that was BJDX. Didn't give much opportunity. Very cheap and definitely a cheaper stock. So I don't know. I think the best opportunity was, you had to buy the low and sell into the retest of the high because it didn't have any follow through. So if you're buying breakouts, you had to take a quick scalp, which wasn't going to be much profit. And you definitely have risk getting flushed on. Here, kind of pulled back from the high. Here, pulled back again from the high. So I think the best strategy was buying off a support or buying off of a dip and selling into a pop. May even be selling before any sort of breakout. So that was BJDX. I finished that one up $64, and that was actually mostly pre-market. Traded Jan. So Jan popped up. I was watching this whole thing. I saw it at 4:30, but I didn't want to just blindly jump on this because I've learned my lesson so many times. Like, it's already up at that point from the low to 4:30. It's up about 10%. I figured we'd see a pretty harsh pullback at some point, and I didn't just want to blindly jump in at 4:30. So I see AUVI kind of curling off on the side. So I'm going to put an alert. If it does give a setup, I would consider trading at small size. So yeah, it kind of just kept going without me. You know, I didn't feel any sort of FOMO because you know I'm learning that my consistency, whether even though even though my conservativeness, sometimes makes me miss moves. For example, this like buying 430 and I could have scalped that for a nice 20-30 cents for like 8% potential 8% move. Even though you know I missed that, my conservativeness is keeping me green long term. And yesterday I kind of lost sight of that, and I was just so like seduced by like wanting to get a nice big move out of a stock that I jumped in RDBX and I got flushed on. And that's what happens when I am not really obeying the rules of entering and exiting a stock. I entered way too high, and so I just have to, you know, come back to my rules or my ideology of being conservative, and that is actually what is keeping me green long term. Even though I'm not, you know, hitting every single move that goes parabolic, I can stay in it long term and make enough each day to where it adds up into a big amount at the end of the month and at the end of the week and at the end of the year. And it's all about, you know, staying consistent. And that conservativeness keeps me consistently green. And that's how I had those 2 months I had 2 months and I had like 4 red days total out of 2 months. And that was like the philosophy that I took, is just by, you know, being conservative. If stuff goes without me, like that's okay. It's always give me another setup. And I only want to, you know, get, you know, the best risk to reward ratio when I'm trading. I don't want to be chasing. So here, you know, I didn't trade any of this. This was actually a good setup. The break back over to VWAP, enter here, and then for the break of the high there, because it was the first pullback after a fresh breakout. I thought we had a potential to run to 5, which is the high of the previous day. Let's look at the 5. So $5 was like the line. But I was still patient. I didn't trade any of that. And I'm glad I didn't, because I kind of felt like it wasn't going to be strong enough to break through 5. And so I waited till the open, and then this was the only one popping up from right here at the open. So I went ahead and started to trade it as it held over the VWAP, tried to take a couple scalps there. This was a break-even scalp. Then it kind of popped without me, but I bought on... Okay, so I bought for the break of this candle, and then I sold into the pop here at 68. So I got a 2-cent scalp there, and then waited for a pullback. We got a pullback to down here. I got the low of this candle, and then kind of selling as it got bought up back to 62 cents. And that was a nice 8-cent winner. Now we're still holding, it looks like I was still holding some shares, and then it flushed a little bit more. Which I sold some for break even and then bought lower at 49 for a bounce off the 90 EMA, and then I took a 2-cent gain on that. And then the rest I took off at 56 on this candle, and that put me up on this stock $51. So very quick scalps on Jan, and then after that, you know, like so many of these flushes, after it sold off so far, I thought we would bounce off the 90 EMA and then run back to 5. But it just kept selling off, and it was very weak, and then it kind of curled back up. I did have it on watch. I thought maybe we'd see a move and rip towards 5, but then it flushed again. And then after that, you know, it's just like, it's not worth to keep trading this to risk that flush, because that's what happened yesterday on RDBX. And, you know, the reward is not worth it. The reward is not worth the risk here. And it looks so convincing now going through $5 that I know some people took this dip at 480.87, 488, and then adding at 495 for a breakthrough 5, and then they got wrecked on this candle. Instant 5% drop. And that's just the stuff that I want to avoid, and it does have a history of flushing, so it's good that I stayed away from something like that. Similar, that's what I should have done with RDBX, you know, seeing all those flushes pre-market and at the open, I should have stayed away from it. But think I learned my lesson here and I didn't start trading Jan, and I literally could have got wrecked today on Jan. So then now let's go over to the last one, AUVI, which is the one that I pretty much nailed today. So pre-market, we started trading this. I got on it kind of high for a quick scalp through this level here. 500 shares, 2-cent scalp. It was a topping tail candle, red candle with high selling volume. So I figured we need to pull back more. We got a bigger pullback. However, this candle got bought up, so I thought, it would just be a quick bull flag, 1 minute bull flag, and then run past 260. But it just didn't have the follow through, so I took that off for a small loss. And then on this candle, I bought the dip, looking for a move off the VWAP. And then this candle came in, never really had any follow through. The bulls never really bought it up and continued it higher. So I took that one off for a small loss, very small size. Then here it kind of curled up. This is a really good entry. I should have gotten in on here. I don't know why I didn't see that. But then I took a position 255 for a breakthrough to high. I got a nice scalp on it. About 6-cent scalp on 500 shares. Then here I took a position for a breakthrough 560, which is like a pivot point, and I got 1 cent on that, but didn't have any follow through. And then here it kind of curled up again. This is a nice ABCD pattern, and I took my position on the break of 640 and hold 1,000 shares, taking some off to kind of manage my risk, and then adding it back at 270. So I was holding 750 shares after I sold 250 at a small loss, and then it ripped up more, and then I added at 270 for a break of the high, and when it broke the high, I took it off at some at 271, 268, more at 271, 273. So that was a really good trade. Then I went for a 1 minute pullback on the support of 270 and thought we'd see some continuation, but I took that off as it wasn't showing any kind of follow through. So at AUVI, at this point going into the open, I was up about $100 or so. And then here at the open on AUVI, I took a quick scalp, as this candle got bought up back to the 9 EMA, the see little pop. I took that quick profit, less than a cent profit, so barely a profit. And then I took a small loss here as I kind of tried to buy the dip. It kind of hesitated to flush, so I thought, there was big support in here. So I took a position at 260, but then it kind of flushed through. And as it was retesting this VWAP level, there's a lot of red going in on the tape. And, I just didn't want to hold for any flush. Like I wanted to get out. I didn't want to hold through a flush and then potentially add lower, which it did. I could have added lower and then rode this to the high. I didn't even want to risk that, so I just took it off here and then looked to get in a fresh position at a lower price. Now I'd rather do that and then risk having a flush and then another flush and then it being completely underwater and having to take a loss. And then here I took a position on the break of 260, got a quick scalp, this 261. I didn't want to hold because, I just didn't know if we were just going to have another flush, so I took my quick profit there. And then here, it kind of ripped most of it without me. But as I saw increasing volume going into the high, part of me was getting a little bit fearful of what happened on RDBX, taking this trade yesterday. But I went ahead and took it since we had increasing volume, and for a breakthrough to high, I run up to 3. So I took a $1,500 share position. So yeah, 1,500 share position. I took 500 off for about break even, just because it kind of broke it, but it didn't rip up on this candle. So I took some off for break even, holding the rest. Then I added back 750 shares at 280 for a breakthrough 280, and we got a move, taking some off 288. And then it kind of dipping back down in this candle, and I got 277. somehow. Or maybe I sold before. I think I might have sold on this pullback here before the breakout actually, and then I sold the rest on that 288 and the push. And then we had a pullback here, and I was looking for, a bigger move for 3, but I thought we'd see a bigger pullback before 3. So I took 1,000 shares at 90 cents, took some off for a quick profit, holding the rest, and then adding for the break of 3. And I took some off at 302, and then the rest at 293 as it kind of got sold into. Then we got a pullback to the 90 EMA, and that's where I accumulated a little bit more position, kind of scalping the range, some of it, taking some off for actually break even, and then some off for a 3-cent gain. And then we got a dip below the 90 EMA, and then a reclaim, and that's where I started adding, taking some off again for a scratch, and then holding some, and then adding into $3 for the break of $3, 1,500 shares. So I was in a total of 1,750 shares on a $3 stock. So that's about, $5,000. And I got that for a nice 5 cents. And that's what put me up. That was over $100 trade, or about $100 trade. And that put me up over $300 on the day. And that's where, I started to, I hit my goal, and I didn't want to do what I did yesterday, and try to make it like even a bigger home run day. So, I kind of dialed it down, and you can see I sized down here as it was very extended, and kind of scalping the range, thinking, we'd get more continuation potentially since it's still on our front side. Here I got 4 cents on 250 shares, so that was good. And here was a nice entry, but I got distracted with something else going on in the room, and I had to close it, but I could have got a nice profit there, 2%, 3% profit there on the backside move for a support reclaim, but I missed that. Then here, again, I went for a quick scalp, looking for a bigger move, spread break-even trade, and then here again, I was thinking we'd see a break of this downward trend, but we never got it, and I took a small win there on 100 shares. But you can see like my sizing was so much smaller because I didn't want to do what I did yesterday. I wanted to conserve all the profit that I made today, and that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. I'm just going to be conservative and lock up the profit when I have it. And if I want to keep trading, size down after I hit my daily goal of $200 to $250. If I'm up $300 or $350, and that's cool too. I can size down after that. But the big mistake for me yesterday, and today I could have fell into, is like being up $300, and I'm like, okay, I want the biggest green day of my career today. This could be it. I could make 500 or 600 today, and then I go in full size or 2 decks full size into the next setup, and I'm risking literally more than what I made on the day today on one trade to make it a huge win. And then you have that flush, or you have a 10% or 10% loss, and that really just devastates you, and it really mentally and emotionally just completely wrecks you. And so that's not what I want to get into. Now that I'm full time, I have to treat this even more seriously than I did before. I don't have nothing else to fall back on. So to make money. So I have to treat it like a business, and when I'm up, I have to manage my risk, my downside risk. $339 is a solid profit on the day. This is more than I would make at my job, working all day. So I definitely, I need to lock that up. And tomorrow I need to come back and kind of do the same thing. Start. I have a kind of sort of feel of where I do best. So pre-market, I'm not trading full size. I'm usually trading half size at most, maybe 3/4 size at most. And I try to get a cushion on the day, like maybe about a $50 to $100 cushion on the day. And then at the open is when I'm taking full size or a little bit more than full size. Today I had my biggest share size was $5,000, so it's almost 2x size. And that's between like 9:30 and 9:45, or 9:30 and 10 o'clock if the setups are still there. If the volume is still there, I can push it till 10 a.m. And that's where I'm in, you know, full size, trying to get most of the gains on the day between 9:30 and 10. And then after 10, you know, recently it's just been like like for me, like I need to be sizing down. I can't be taking risk after 10 o'clock like I was at 9:30. And because I have to start thinking about protecting what I have on the day now. And then also, you know, pre-market, the reason why I'm not going full size is because I don't want to start the whole day, you know, start the whole day in the red and then spend the rest of my time at 9:30 when I'm usually like performing the best and have the best setups. I don't want to spend that time and that profit to be only making back money from the morning. So that's why I like to trade a little bit low size, smaller size, around 7, 8, 9 a.m. and then 9:30 or right before the open to 9:30 to 10 a.m. latest. You know, I'll be trading my full size, and then after, you know, if I'm green on the day, I need to think about protecting that profit. I can't be slinging big size at 10:30 trying to make it another huge home run day and try to double the profit that I made at 9:45 because the trades are not going to be the same at 10:30 as they are at 9:30. Volume is different, the market is different, the charts are different, and so I have to keep that in mind. Which is that's how I have to stay consistent. That's part of my rules to stay consistent is by following the times that I do the best at, and also the risk management at different points and times in the day. So those are kind of the things that I've been thinking about and journaling about, and you know, something that I'm starting to implement more and realize about myself to really maximize the profit and minimize the risk that I'm having during my trading day. So that's it for me. You guys definitely got a good idea of where I'm at and things that I'm working on, and I hope that inspires you guys to work on yourself and to push your comfort zone, but also doing it responsibly and not, you know, trying to gamble or hit a home run on setups that are not worthy of going full size. So I hope you guys got some sort of value out of this video, even if it is taking one of the tips or the tricks that I am implementing for myself and you applying it to yourself and your trading journey. So if that helped you out, please hit the like button, show your support, also subscribe. If you aren't a subscriber already, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. That would be awesome if I can get 100 subscribers. That would be a huge accomplishment. So, you know, I'm going to get there to 100 subscribers. It's just a matter of when. And thank you for, you know, watching this video to the end. All right, yeah, if you're still watching it's at 23 minutes in, you're awesome. You are freaking awesome, and I appreciate the shit out of you. All right, peace out, guys. See you guys tomorrow if you're still trading. Good luck. All right.